Hello, how are you? Hope you all are fine. Today we will discuss first chapter of geography, class 10, that is resource and development. But in this video, we will not discuss all that chapter. We will discuss what is called resource and classifications of resource. That much. Before starting the video, I would like to ask two questions, and I'm very sure at the end of the video, we will be able to answer these two questions. The first question is define resource, explain the classification of resources. Sometimes these questions may be explain the classification of resources on the basis of origin, on the basis of exhaustibility, on the basis of development, like that. And second question is why human beings are considered an important component of the resource. Otherwise, how human beings transform the materials found in environment or in nature into resource. That can be, but whatever may be, answers will be same. Let us see what is resource. Everything in our environment that can used to satisfy our needs and is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable is termed as resource. Sometimes you may face a short question, what is called resource or define resource, then you have to write these definitions. Do you understand what is this technologically accessible? Technologically accessible means our technology should available to transform something in the nature into our usable one. Then only that material can be considered as resource. Then economically feasible. What does economically feasible means? Means if the cost of producing that resources will be more than the benefit, then that cannot be considered as resource, because out of that our benefit will not be more than the expenditure. And culturally acceptable, it's a very important thing. All around us cannot be used directly as resource. If our culture is not accepted that as resource, then we cannot certify that material as our resource. Example, the horn of rhinoceros. It's having value in the market maybe, but our culture doesn't accept it. Our culture says that we should protect or warn on rhinoceros. Why should we kill it? So that cannot be considered as resource. But in another way, from the angle of tourism sector, that can be considered as resource. So now you are very clear that what is called resource. So you will write resources means everything in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, our desires, and is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable is termed as resources, not a resource. So I hope you understood it and you can write it in exam. Let us go to see what is the role of human being transforming some natural substance or materials into resource. So human beings themselves are essential component of resource. Why? Because until and unless human beings do not function to transform something in the nature, cannot satisfy our needs. To bring the status of usable one, human being definitely play a major role. That is why human being can be considered as super resource. And human being transform the material available in the environment into resource and use them. To understand more it, we can see a triangular process. That is relationship between environment means nature, technology and institutions. And this three triangular process in between means major role played by human beings. How? Something in the nature that directly cannot satisfy our what is called needs. Sometimes some things are there, they directly satisfy, but majority things are found in the nature which directly cannot satisfy our needs. We have to convert, we have to transform it into a finished product. So for converting, for transforming, we need technology. So with the help of technology, human beings transform something from the nature into a resource. But for that need what? Institutions. Directly technology cannot work until and unless we do not have institutions. Institutions means we need factory, we need the workshop, we need industry. So there we can transform the natural substance or the materials into resource. Even market also comes. This all these three things are what? Processed by human beings. That is why human beings are the central rule of this process. It is until and unless human beings do not work on it, do not function on it, then no material itself can convert to that state by which we will be satisfied. Clear now? So this is the relationship between nature, technology, and institution. Resources are broadly categorized into two different groups. First is natural and human. Again, natural resources can be further divided as renewable and non-renewable. Renewable resources can be further divided continuous or flow, wind, water, etc. And biological. Biological can be further divided natural vegetations and wildlife. Same way, non-renewable resources can be also subdivided. These are recyclable, means those can be recycled, and another one is non-recyclable. Those cannot be recycled. Once you used, no recycle option will be there. Again, if you see the human resource, this can be structures and institutions, and another category is quantity and quality. This is a broad categorization of resources. I have given in this video a flowchart. This will be a great help for you. Apart from these broad categories, resources can be classified based on nature, based on their characteristics. These classifications are of four categories. First one is on the basis of origin, biotic and abiotic. On the basis of exhaustibility, renewable and non-renewable. On the basis of ownership, individual, community, national and international. And fourth one is on the basis of status of development, potential, developed, stocked and reserves. These all four categories are categorized on the basis of their characteristics. Let us discuss one by one. First one is on the basis of origin. Origin means from where we get the resource. First is biotic resource. Biotic, bio means life. Biotic resource, resources which obtained from the biosphere. Biosphere is nothing, it's a combination of lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. These combinations together is biosphere. Bio means life. So some things are there in the nature which are living things, and out of that we get resource, we obtain resource, and they satisfy our needs. After first we can consider ourselves as a resource, because without us no material can be transformed into usable one or the finished product. Then flora, then fauna, then fish, livestock, this all they are having life and they satisfy our needs, hence they can be considered as resource, and these are biotic resources. Then abiotic resources, all non-living things such as rock, metals, rivers, sunlight. These all, they directly or indirectly satisfy our needs, and those are resources. Of course, without them, we cannot expect our life. We cannot even think of our life. We'll be stagnant without that water, without the sunlight. What would be our condition? Just think a moment. So these all are abiotic resources. I hope you understood very well. Then next, it is based on exhaustibility. Exhaustibility means it will be over in the period of time or not, or it can be used again and again or not. These all characteristics together, it is exhaustibility. So based on exhaustibility, it is renewable and non-renewable. Renewable means the resources which can be renewed or reproduced by physical, chemical or mechanical process. So the renewable resource may further be divided like that: solar, wind energy, water, forest, wildlife, fauna. These all are renewable. Means once you are using it, it can be again reused. It can be again used again and again. It never get exhausted. These sort of resources are renewable or replenishable resources. So sunlight, use today sunlight, you must not worry that tomorrow there will be no more sunlight for using. No, you cannot finish using sunlight. The day after day it will come and go, it will come like that. So it is never ending. So this sort of resources can be considered as renewable resources. Then non-renewable, just opposite of the renewable resources. For occurring these resources, nature takes a long period of time. We can say a long geographical period. So it is not just one day or 2 days. It takes millions of millions years. Then only it forms. So this sort of resources can be considered as non-renewable. Once you have used it, no more will be available for tomorrow. Say you use today 1 liter of petrol in your scooty or your vehicle. So tomorrow that will not come again to your tank, fuel tank. It cannot be used again and again. So this sort of resources can be considered as non-renewable. Once you have used, it got finished, it exhausted, no more will be left. So this sort of resources are non-renewable resources. That can be further divided. So recyclable, some are non-recyclable. Minerals, fossil fuels, these are non-renewable. Once you used mineral, that again you cannot use it. It will get exhausted. That is why when use non-renewable resources, we must be very cautious. We must be very judicious. We must be very rational. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to maintain our development using non-renewable resources. And I appeal you, when you use non-renewable resources, please take care of, and if possible you extend your using what is called habit for renewable resources. So let us stop here in this video today. In another video we will discuss rest of the divisions. Thank you.